What the? I think Josh is holding me back again.
Hello, Stephon Diggs. For years, you've angrily thrown tablets. But today, the tablet is going to throw you. You have 5 seconds to simply say, I do not blame anyone else for my problems. Clock starts now.
I do not. I can't do it. Throw me.
Well, they finally caught Kelsey.
My first professional death trap. So blessed!
Oh, God, did they kill Belichick?
That explains the last few seasons.
Would you like to play a game?
Yes.
Sorry, I should clarify, not a football game.
No.
Aaron, you cheated. Father time with your injury recovery.
Medicine is alive, Mr. Pfizer.
You can leave, so long as you walk across artificial turf.
Oh, God! Oh, no! Grass exists for a reason!
You sick freak!
John Robinson, you made the mortal sin of having a headache during a game.
Well, geez, sir. I sure am sorry if I offended.
Next to you is a razor. Either cut off your own hand or your coach's awesome new mustache.
Please, Bijan, you're a running back. You only need one hand.
I'm so sorry, Coach.
It hurts so bad. No, just look like any other billionaire's son.
Travis, you've committed one of the worst sins, distracting from the precious game.
That is not blessed, bro.
Kill me, but don't get any blood on the Kelly Green jerseys. They're just too clean. Let him go.
I will. You just have to tweet. Taylor's Eras Tour is a great show, but Beyonce's Renaissance Tour is an experience.
I'm sorry, Tay. I'm trying so hard to be a gentleman.
I release you to the Swifties.
How dare you? She's gonna destroy you. Her song.
Puka, Cooper, there can only be one of you.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to kill Puka Nakua.
Aw, same to you, bro.
Then deal with the blades of death.
Joke's on you. We're Rams. We only know how to deal with opposing fans.
You'll never get us, bro. Life is too beautiful.
You thought I was dead, but what is truly evil will never die. Just ask the Bills.
Game over.
Ah!
Dan Campbell, I'd like to play a game. You were.
Let's do it. Ah!
Wait, no, just use the key. This isn't the test.
Fire it up, baby. You saw us. We saw you right back. I don't need feet. I need yards.
I didn't even see that last part on TikTok. I didn't know they had the outro there. That was
Dude, I have one of my after watching that, I have one of my hottest takes ever.
Uh-oh.
A lot of people might be mad at this, and it's not like football related. This is just
Getting
always
right
been.
into it.
This has always just been one of my takes.
Yeah.
I hate Halloween. I hate it. I think
what?
I hate it.
That's not a terrible take.
I hate it,
It's
dude.
not. I don't hate it, but I think it's overrated for sure.
No, like I am not a fan of Halloween whatsoever.
I think it's.
I
Definitely
think
overrated. You're not gonna get hate from me on that take. You'll get hate from other people. You won't get hate from me.
Because here's the thing, right? Back when we were younger, we could go like trick or treating and everything. You know, it was cool. It was fun. You know, free stuff is free stuff. And it was all fun. You know, you get to dress up and all that. But now, like these people who are like, when I see people who are like 35, 40 years old and they're wearing like a crazy costume, I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I do on Halloween every year?
What?
The only thing that I do on Halloween is I go to Chipotle and I throw on a football jersey and say it's my costume.
I've been doing that since I was like 10 years old in terms of the costume.
Yeah, no, and I get a 50% off a burrito. That's the only thing I do. But this year, I actually am doing something to celebrate the holiday.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of this movie coming out called Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh.
That's what I'm going to do on Halloween night. I'm going to see the movie. I'm very excited. Dude, I was a fucking Five Nights at Freddy's nerd when I was like in middle school. I was a nerd. Like to that game, dude. Did you ever play it or no?
No, we talked about this in the last show.
We did?
Yeah.
Dude, the trailer for the movie looks nuts. It looks nuts. But yeah, guys, it's been a thing at Chipotle for years. If you just wear a costume in Chipotle, you get 50% off like a burrito or a bowl or whatever it is. So it's worth it. And if you want double meat, if you want like double steak, then it's just regular price. So it's worth it.
All right.
But yeah.
So, something we've been both talking about are the Vikings this year. And we've been very consistent about how they're not good. This is a very much agreed upon take of both of us. They're just not good. And they just are overrated. But then they just went and beat the 49ers. And I don't know if you've looked at their upcoming schedule, but it's very, very easy. So my question to you, Burns, before I answer, what do you think about the Vikings now? Has your opinion changed?
You see, my opinion going into the year on the Minnesota Vikings
Mine as
was
well. We had the same take, almost identical in terms of
was that they sold off half their roster this offseason. They're not going to be the same team that they were last year. And I think that still stands because I didn't expect them to be a bottom feeder in the NFL. I didn't expect them to be a top 5 worst team in the league. I expected them to be right in the middle of the pack. Right in the middle. They might slip into a wild card slot. Like, that's why I always thought, they might get the 6 or 7 seed maybe. But they're going to have 7 to 9 wins and just be okay. I didn't expect them to be, what were they, 2-5? Weren't they 0-4? They were 0-4 to start off the year. I didn't expect that.
Right.
But I knew that they still had a little bit of bite to them.
They're 3-4.
They're 3-4 now. So this is...
Were they 0-4?
It's what I expected. They started off 0-4 because remember they played the Bears 0-4 versus 0-4, right? No.
Have they won 3 in a row?
I think. Let me look.
Because they won, obviously, this week. They beat the Bears. Who did they play the week before?
No. They went into the Bears game 1-4. They went into the Bears game 1-4. They beat the Panthers, and then they lost to the Chiefs. And then they beat the Bears and the 49ers.
That makes more sense. I was about to say, that didn't sound right. It did not sound right.
It's just... It's what I expected now. I didn't expect them to beat them. I didn't expect them to beat the 49ers.
Yeah, nah.
But right now is honestly just what I expected out of them. I'm not really too shocked,
I'm with you. In terms of what I expected at the beginning of the year, they're about right on track. But in the last couple of weeks, they've looked really, really bad. So I went from mediocre team to bad team.
Yeah.
Now I think I'm just back to what I originally was with them, which is they're mid. They're all right.
Yeah, I'm back to my original. I'm on the same page as you with it. I think that Jordan Addison is going to be a great wide receiver in a couple years. He's already shown shots. He's great. He was
impressive.
And I just think
too.
Kirk looked like fucking prime Tom Brady out there against the 49ers, dude. He was dicing them up.
Yeah.
He was dicing them up. But people who are saying about that game are the Niners frauds, too, talking about the Niners side of things. I still think that they're fine. I think the Niners are perfectly fine. I'm not worried about them whatsoever. The Dolphins being frauds, I'm not worried about the Dolphins. Dolphins played a hell of a game against the Eagles. They played a great game. I just think the NFL is in a weird spot right now. It's a very
power rankings, man. I have
very weird spot. And I just, it's so weird because I really want to see your power rankings later. But for me right now, it's Phillies all the way up here. And then here's everybody else. They're a level below. I think.
God.
Yeah.
San Fran is just. The talent is there. I stand by that. I said the only thing that would stop them would be injuries. They have had a couple of injuries over the last couple of weeks. I don't want to discount it. But I came on here and pounded the table for Brock Purdy as a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And I said that he is a legitimate, great quarterback and people need to treat him as such. I am not ready to back down from that take. I still stand by it. But
the bridge is getting a little shaky.
I can't look at the last 2 games and say that was not concerning because it was. I am not going to back away from that take because I still stand by it. I think he's shown way, way, way more good than bad over the last few weeks. And it's not like he was terrible on Monday night. He wasn't. He wasn't great. He made a couple of really bad throws, but he has shown way more good than bad. So I am a little worried. I won't deny it. I am not ready to back away from that take at all yet. I'm not.
Yeah.
You want to get into the power rankings now? Because I feel like that's just kind of where this conversation is right now.
Sure, we can. I have a couple other points that I want to bring up as well. If you want to do this first or after.
Yeah, well, I mean, the power rankings is kind of like that league-wide view. So go ahead.
Yeah. Well, let's bring them up. Let's see.
All right, let's bring them up here. These are my power rankings for the week. Again, it's so weird right now, but
It is.
this is what we got.
Wow, you're putting Kansas City at 1?
Yeah, but not by much. Here's the
Who
thing.
the fuck?
So Sam made this take.
Who the fuck is calling me?
Don't know.
I don't know. All right, keep going.
Sam made this take in the beginning of the season. He asked me a question, and he said, because the conversation was about how wide open the NFL is and how many contenders there are, and he said, are there more contenders than ever before this year? Or have the Chiefs and Eagles opened up a gap where they are so clearly the two best teams, and then it's just way closer between everyone else than it used to be, but the Chiefs and Eagles have opened a gap where they're still clearly the top two. And I feel like that might have been the case. Where
Yeah, a little bit.
The gap between 3 and, like, honestly, 21, not as much as you think at all. And
You see, but we were talking about this a couple weeks ago too, where it was like the top 7, 8 teams, you could say that they're good, and then the rest you don't know.
yeah, and we have no
So
idea.
we've been in the same place for a while now.
But it does feel like the only 2 teams that have just been consistent, but yet maybe not as good as some people might think, but still the 2 most consistent teams by far have been the Chiefs and the Eagles. Are we just setting ourselves up for a really interesting season that ends the exact
That's
same
something
way
that I want to
last week?
bring up. That's something that I want to bring up about Philly. Is Philly earlier this year, it reminded me a lot of Alabama. Let me explain why.
I see what
Because here's the thing. They were beating all these teams. They were winning. I'm talking about before the Jets game when they were, what, 5-0?
Yeah.
Was it 5-0? But everybody's sitting here saying,
I think more Georgia is your point than Bama.
no, it's usually Bama. This year, Georgia. This year,
I thought you were
sure.
talking about this year.
Yeah. But everybody's getting mad at Philly because they're not winning by 14 points. They're not winning by 20 points. They're not winning by 30. Just like how usually Alabama, like there's so many videos and they're hilarious if you look them up of Nick Saban impressors just yelling at reporters saying, our fault. We won the game. It's my fault that we didn't win by 21 points. My fault. It's the same exact thing. They're still winning. Same thing with Kansas City. People were talking all this shit about Kansas City especially after week 1, after they lost to the Lion. And everybody's saying, oh, I don't know if this is the same Kansas City Chiefs team that we've seen almost every single year. It is. They're winning, but like, I don't know why there's like this boundary set on them. Like they have to win when you play this team, they have to win by a certain amount of points to still be a Super Bowl contender in the wide conversation. I don't get it.
I see your point, but here's the thing. To me, it's not about how much you win by, it's how you win. It's how good do you look while you win.
Sure.
They don't need to win by 30. I don't know. They don't need to do that. But they need to play good to great football every week, win or loss. The reason why Kansas City and Philly are number 1 and number 2 is because while, they're not beating teams by 30 here, they are consistently playing either good or great football. The reason why Kansas City is number 1 and not Philly is because I've seen more great football from Kansas City than I have Philly, but they still both look great. They both still are the top 2. But like the counter is, why aren't we talking about the Steelers as a legitimate contender right now? Even though, they're 4-2, they keep winning, because it has not been impressive at all.
No, it hasn't. It's just been grimy football. It's been grimy football.
But that's the difference. And it's not even low-scoring wins. I don't care if you win low score. If it's because your defense is really good and that's just the way you're playing and your style is running the ball and playing control-the-clock football, and they play that well, that's different.
Yeah.
But that's not what's happened in Pittsburgh either. They just happen to be so incredibly lucky and they're coming away with all these wins. But no one's coming on here except for Steelers fans that are saying, oh, watch out for this team. Because it's not impressive.
I agree with you.
It's not impressive.
I agree with you. Yeah, it's not. It hasn't been. And I like the Steelers. And I said this year that they're going to be a playoff team. They will. And a lot of people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? And
It's the AFC North, man. The problem
they're
is
just a
still
grimy
they're still
football
the worst
team.
team in the North.
Yeah, and they're a grimy football team, and they're 4-2.
Yeah.
They are
Tom-
4-2.
Mike Tomlin. is
But
some kind of
I mean,
deal.
looking at the rest of your power rankings, I'm looking at the bottom right now. I mean, the Bears still at 29. Yeah. Let me see. You only moved the Packers down one spot.
I
Dude.
wanted to move them down more.
You should have.
I
This
wanted
isn't
to
even
move them down
okay.
more.
Look. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
completely unbiased with this. This is just aside from it.
Yeah,
They are not a good football team.
they are not.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
I agree with you.
That's not even being biased. That's me just looking at their season this year. They are not a good football team at all.
I agree with you. But here's the thing. Look, what have we been talking about for the last few weeks? There are so many bad teams right now. Like number 23 this year compared to normal number 23 are two different things. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
they
I can roll
look
with that.
terrible, but look at the teams below them. And it's like,
But
yes.
here's the thing. Here's where I see a flaw with you is 24 and 25 both beat the Packers, and you put Green Bay above them.
Oh my God.
That's a part where I'm a bit curious. Was that just like a mental fuck up, or was it just like
Well, I mean, I didn't do that like intentionally, no. But
Yeah.
in terms of why I have Green Bay still ahead of those two, I've seen better football from Green Bay as a whole this year than I've seen from Denver and Vegas.
but there hasn't been good football from there. There really hasn't.
No one at 23 below has played good football this year. Like they all
Hey.
suck.
Hey, Bears look good on Sunday. They look good. They played a
But I'm
complete
talking
game.
like consistently solid football.
Okay.
Like, yeah, Green Bay looked great against Chicago. Doesn't mean they're good.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I mean,
like-
also what week one's an outlier. Week
Brock
one's
Purdy's
always an
in
outlier.
concussion protocol?
He is?
Yeah, apparently.
That's odd.
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Huh. That's interesting.
I guess he fucked up his head.
Showing concussion symptoms on the plane back from Minnesota.
How do you show concussion symptoms?
I don't know. Well, I guess just kind of like out of it, kind of like.
Well, you
Not
say your
really.
head hurts?
Well, that's possible too.
Yeah.
But
But
it's interesting.
I don't know. How much you only dropped Buffalo 3?
So the thing with Buffalo is they have been two different teams this year. They've either looked horrible or amazing.
Yeah.
Like when the Bills play good football,
They're
they're
great.
playing
No,
about as well
yeah,
as
I
any team
agree.
in the league. They're playing about
I
as well as any team in the league when they're playing good. Problem is when they're playing bad, man, they look terrible.
No, they do.
So
They
I
do
didn't
look
really know what
bad.
to do with them.
Yeah. Okay. I was just genuinely curious about that. Okay.
This one is more of just since he's on the bye, so it wasn't like they did anything to move them up or down last week. But
Mhm.
I just felt like Atlanta needed to move up a tiny bit. This was nothing really in particular about either of the two teams. It's just kind of how it stacked up. There really isn't any kind of real argument for or against it. I just felt like Atlanta needed
Yeah.
to move up a
But
bit.
looking at the rest of your list, I mean, I really don't see like any debate with it. I don't see any problems with it at all. But I got a couple hot takes actually saved up in the cranium
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
I kind of want to just fire off at you.
All right, let's hear it.
Put up our names. There we go. Good job, Josh. Put up our names. Put up our names, Josh.
Sorry.
There you go. And it goes from NFL to college football. And first off, I want to explain each one. And then I want you to get into it, okay?
Okay.
Number one, and this is probably the biggest heater that I have saved up. If I am an NFL owner, if I'm a GM, I do not want Caleb Williams on my team. The guy, the best way to word it is the guy's a tool. The guy is legitimately a tool. You watch that USC-Utah game when Utah is driving down the field to kick a game-winning field goal, and this whole team is on the sideline cheering on their defense, and he's sitting by himself, laying back with his head up, looking at the sky. instead of being with this team. And number two, the guy he wants partial ownership in an NFL franchise.
That
We don't
is
know if
not-
that's confirmed yet.
that-
We don't know if it's
That
confirmed
one
yet.
I don't believe that's true. And that was a headline from 3 months ago that has come back.
Okay,
in.
okay,
That was
okay,
not
okay,
yet.
okay.
So I'll say that's not.
Number two, he plays against two good teams. He plays against two good teams for the first time this year. The rest has been a cakewalk. He looks like a completely different quarterback. He looks like a completely different quarterback. He does not look like this god that is going to come to the NFL. No. Against Notre Dame threw 3 picks, and against Utah, he had a decent game. Nothing spectacular out of him. And just in general, it's more his persona for me. I'm just really not a fan. And obviously, he's going to be on an NFL roster, and a team is going to pick him. But I think that a better way to word my take is that hype around him for this first overall pick. I think it really needs to die down. He just looks like a douchebag. I'm not a fan.
All right. So here's what I'll say. The hype around him is that he is a generational Trevor Lawrence, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck,
Sure.
John Elway prospect. That is the expectation for him.
Yeah.
When you look at him like that, I can say I don't think he's there. But I'll say this. Now I have not sat down and watched film on him yet, as I will when we get into late January, early February. I begin my draft process, and by the time we get to April, I know pretty much everything about especially the top prospects. I've not gone through like a thorough review of Caleb Williams, but from what I've seen, because I've watched multiple just games, his playmaking ability, just strictly playmaking ability, is about as good as I've ever seen from a draft prospect, ever.
Sure.
Some of the plays that he makes, honestly, is Mahomes, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
But this other part of it, before we get off, I'm just talking on the field, he does occasionally have some of those misses that are really questionable. His decision making, just sometimes he's not able to make a couple of plays. But some of the good is about as good as I've ever seen, and that is why he has gotten the hype that he's gotten, because when the good is insanely good.
Yeah.
But the off the field stuff is stuff that I am also it has my attention.
Yeah.
I don't care about the pain in the nails thing. That's whatever. That's just people wanting to talk. But the stuff you said about sitting on the bench, stuff about
looking like he's better than everybody else on that team.
Yeah. And it's such an interesting situation because he's got so much money already. And I worry about something like that potentially being in his head of like, he is now obviously the NIL is a new process. So you can take this stat with a grain of salt, but he is the highest earning college athlete of all time.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's only 2-3 years in NIL, but still, that is a reality. Meaning that he's going to be going into the NFL with something that literally no one ever has to the level that he has gotten.
Mm-hmm.
So his mindset of you got to treat me like a guy that's already proven it because I've already gotten the money that proves what.
Yeah, I think that's because look.
So that makes this whole thing so interesting.
It does. It does.
I'm really interested to see how he handles himself. I'm interested to hear because I haven't heard this yet, but I'm interested to hear if as we get further down the season, as the draft process goes on, if we're going to hear stuff about being a bad teammate. Because if that happens, then we can have those conversations.
Because here's the biggest thing, right? Is when you're a number one pick, when you're a number one overall pick,
which I think he still should be,
you're going to a bottom feeder team. You're going to a team with no other roster around them right now. And one of the traits that you have to have if you're this generational talent is leadership.
Yep.
You can have all of the talent in the world on the field.
100%.
But you need to be a leader and you need to rally that team around you. And then you could build something there. But Caleb Williams to me just doesn't seem like the type of guy to do that. To me, Caleb Williams seems like if he goes to a team that already has talent around him, he will be fine. But if he goes to one of these bottom feeder teams, like let's say the Arizona Cardinals, who have essentially nothing.
Bears.
No, I don't want him. Bears,
Well, you're
sure.
saying hypothetically.
Yeah, Bears, sure. There's nothing there for you. He's going to suck. He's not going to play good football there. Well, I don't know. He might. That team's not. That team is not going to play good football. That's serious. That's my take about Caleb Williams right now. And, maybe my mind changes when the draft comes around. I start hearing more stories, but just right now, I just don't like what I see. I really don't.
I think it's because of all the hype that, like, if he's being treated as the number one quarterback in the draft, I don't think we're having these conversations.
But you see this?
We got to look at what he is.
Josh.
He's being viewed as this generational guy. You got to treat him differently.
Sure. Did Trevor Lawrence act like this?
Right. That's the point. Is you got to put him on that pedestal.
Did Manning act like this? No. Did Joe Burrow act like this? No. No other number one generational talent quarterback has ever acted like this. Ever. When you're this good, sure, there's been quarterbacks. There's been fucking Johnny Manziel. Look at what happened to Johnny Manziel. All the talent in the world.
That Caleb had.
No, he didn't have the same hype. He had a lot of hype. Johnny Manziel had a lot of fucking hype.
Yeah, but it wasn't as it was different. It was different hype.
Exactly, but look, Johnny Manziel, what happened to him? His leadership ability and he was incredible on the field, but his leadership ability is what crumbled him essentially.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that crumbled him. So I'm worried about that. I really am.
Yeah. I see. I think it's definitely one of those conversations that I think is going to get a lot louder.
Yeah, no, I think it will. Around draft time after the season, it's going to get loud. But my other take, which is more, it's not a take, it's just a question. I really want to see how you respond to this.
Mm-hmm.
Through 7 weeks, almost halfway through the NFL season, which is even crazy to say. That's wild already.
It is. That always is the case. Always flies.
Is LaFleur the guy?
I'm not firing him after this year. Not unless if they literally lose out.
But is he the guy? Is he the guy? It's an interesting question, right?
I'm not looking. To me, he's not on the hot seat, if that's your question.
No, he's not on the hot seat. I'm just wondering for the future, for the next 10 years, for the next 8, 9, 10 years, is he the guy?
I think he's shown more reason for the answer to be yes than no, but it's not like a definitely 100% no doubt, but there's more reasons to say yes than there is to say no, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's just because I really thought about this because the number one talk about the Packers all year has just been Jordan Love.
Right.
It's just been Jordan Love. Nobody cares about anything else in Green Bay. But one of the other questions when we came into this year was, is LaFleur a true head coach?
Yeah.
Is he a true head coach? Because when you have Aaron Rodgers, that's basically all your coaching right there. Aaron Rodgers had that whole offense. He had that whole team figured out. So I really want to ask Packers fans. I haven't really asked any about this.
I'm interested to hear what they would think.
Just is LaFleur the guy?
I think he can be. I think he's a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good coach. I'm not looking. If I'm the Packers, he has not given me a reason to doubt him.
Yeah. No, I was just seriously curious to.
It's like an interesting conversation that I just don't think we're ready to have yet.
I feel like by the end of the year we'll have that answer.
Yeah, I agree with you. And by the way, exact same conversation with Justin Fields, with me at least personally, because I went.
Justin Fields is he the guy?
Right, because I went from loving him and hyping him up, and when there's a player like that I am consistently hyping up, when I finally give up on you, it's very tough for me to pop back on that hype train. And I did. I was after the Chiefs game. I said, all right, I'm done. He then followed it up with the 2 best games he's ever had.
Yeah.
So it's the same conversation where I can't give you an answer yet. At the end of the year, I'll have an answer.
And you
Same
know,
exact scenario.
I knew right away that after the win on Sunday that Bears fans, I've seen it my whole fucking life. I've seen it with Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky. I've seen it with Jay Cutler and Brian Hoyer. Jay Cutler with so many fucking backup quarterbacks.
Matt Barkley.
Yeah, I've seen it with so many that starter gets hurt. Backup goes in and wins a game. And then now all of Chicago is saying, one game. And now I'm seeing it all over Twitter. Is Badgett the guy? Is he the future? Is he going to lead us for the next 10 years? And you know what?
You want me to pull up the pick that he had against Minnesota?
Against Minnesota?
Yeah.
Who? Badgett?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. But he played a good game against a good defense. I will give him that credit. Give him that credit.
Great game, though.
And you want to hear this? Ready? So I was on Twitter doing some diving. I made a video about this. This guy, Tysons Dad, he's an interesting guy. And you're going to hear about it. I mean, on Sunday Night Football on the pregame, I'm guessing they're going to do a full deep dive into him.
Yeah, but it's a hell of a story.
Here's the thing. Good defense, dude. The Raiders have a great defense.
Well,
Max Crosby's a fucking dog.
Outside of Max Crosby, it's not great.
Outside of Max Crosby, yeah, it's okay. But still, I mean, Max Crosby in that Raiders pass rush caused a lot of issues. They cause a lot of issues. They cause a lot of issues. They do.
Well, Max Crosby caused a lot of issues because he's just a game record.
Yeah, dude, all defenses, it starts from the lineup. It starts from the lineup. If the line causes issues, the rest of the defense can help.
It does seem like we're going to be getting Sam Darnold this week for San Fran. It's pretty
no
much
way.
Right. Yeah,
Fuck.
It's going to be. It sounds like he's unlikely to play. It's going to be Sam Darnold for them in a big game. You know who they play? Cincy.
Oh my God! All right, I gotta change my picks.
So I gotta change my picks. Getting Sam Darnold versus the Bengals this week.
Yeah, I gotta change my pick. I picked the 49ers. Sorry to spoil, but now, no. I'm not trusting Darnold. But
I'm seeing guns.
Here's the thing. Tyson, first off, we know that he's the D2 guy. Everybody knows the D2 story. First off, his dad,
yes,
is a 28-time arm wrestling world champion.
It's crazy.
Tysons Dad, Bears backup quarterback. His dad is a 28-time world arm wrestling champion. And you know what I said? That's GOAT levels right there.
Yeah, it really is.
That's like Michael Phelps, like Olympics level.
Baltimore
right
zone, Michael Phelps.
Like, am I wrong to say that? That's GOAT level.
No, it's really not. Like, that's insane.
All right, so now we have the GOAT of the Olympics, basically, Michael Phelps. The GOAT of football, Tom Brady.
Not basically.
Yeah, no, he is. The GOAT of football, Tom Brady. GOAT of basketball, Michael Jordan. Fuck off if you think anything else. And now you just have the GOAT of arm wrestling, Tysons Badgett's dad. I don't even know his dad's first name, but you know what? I'll give him his flowers.
You gotta make that mistake and not say his name.
I don't know his name. It just said Tysons Badgett's dad. That's what it said in every single article. But I got two more. I got two more things for you about Tyson.
Badgett.
Travis? It's Travis? Okay, Travis Badgett. Two more things.
All right.
So behind the Shepherd University football practice field, Tyson's high school history teacher and his football coach live there. And it's one of those houses where it's like the backyard is just like the woods, right? Mm-hmm. After practice, they used to go and chop up trees, chop up lumber, and he would be in the backyard of his high school's history teacher's backyard, bench pressing logs of wood. He would work out back there doing that. Swear to God. But no, we're not done yet because also there was a river back there. And this is all confirmed, and there's videos of Tyson doing this. There was a river back there. And, you know, the school, Shepherd University, it's in Virginia, and Virginia gets pretty damn cold. What him and some of his football teammates did is they went into the river over the summer. They took shovels and they dug out a little basin in the river. So that, you know, it's like there's no current and it's kind of like a pool, basically. in February, they would go in there with sledgehammers, break the ice off the top, and they would use that as their ice bath after practice. In the middle of February,
What?
in a random, in the river, it's like a known river, apparently. I don't know the actual name of it, but in this river, they would sit there in the ice bath in the middle of February. He'd just be sitting out there in the river. Isn't that just wild?
That is insane.
Like, did you expect that from this guy?
No.
That's the only reason. Like, this is why, like, people are really starting to rally around this guy because he's interesting. He's interesting.
It's a hell of a story, yeah.
You know, you don't see a lot. The last, like, really interesting guy to come into the NFL out of nowhere was Brock Purdy.
Minshew also.
Mr. Relevant, Mr. Minshew. He reminds me a lot of Gardner Minshew. He doesn't look like Gardner Minshew, though. Yeah. Gardner Minshew, you could look at him and say, yeah, he would try and break his hand.
That checks out.
Yeah, he would try and break his hand and then just chug a bottle of Jack Daniels to take away the pain. I see that for another year of eligibility in college.
To Minshew.
No, it does. But Tyson, you look at him, you don't see this. You don't. You don't. And we are going to try, potentially during the offseason, to get Tyson on the show one day.
Yes.
Because we do have a contact to Tyson Badgett.
We do.
And I just need we need to have a deep dive with him into all of these stories.
Yeah.
Because that would just be crazy. Fucking, it really is. Like, dude, there's so many, sometimes in the NFL, there's just characters, there's people who are characters. That's a character.
Another one was T-Sizzle.
T-Sizzle was a character. He was, dude. And it's just so weird to, like, really think about that. Like, have you ever actually taken an ice bath?
No.
Have you ever taken, like what I did for a while over the summers, I would take, like, really cold showers where it's like you're in the shower and, you clean yourself up, do all that, but then you just whip it right to cold all the way. And, dude, it, like, shocks your whole body. Like, you get lightheaded. It's wild. It's wild. Like, I probably couldn't even get into a regular ice bath.
No.
I probably couldn't, dude. That's way too cold.
Yeah.
I don't know. Shout out to Tyson. And I really hope that he plays well versus the Chargers. I really hope he does. It would. Imagine he gets 2 wins while he's in and then Justin comes back.
There you go.
Oh, my God. But then that's the thing. If he gets 2 wins and Justin comes back, dude, everybody's going to be calling for his fucking throat if he fucks up once. Oh, yeah. No, he doesn't even have to lose. If it's at home, if it's at Soldier Field and he throws a pick or something, Tyson chants are starting throughout the stadium. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. But at the same time, do you really blame us?
You've suffered so much.
We haven't had a real quarterback ever, essentially, except, that's another character. I saw this little, it came up on my For You page, a little mini doc on Jim McMahon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on, dude. Jimmy Mack. That's one of my favorite jerseys I have. He was a guy.
There needs to be a documentary about him.
Oh, no, it shouldn't be a documentary. It should be like, what's it called? What are those other ones? Yeah, no, like a movie, but like, what's it actually called? Where it's like, it's a documentary, but it's a movie. Like the movie about Elvis. That's my favorite movie ever. Biopic. That's it. We need and this is true. This is true, right?
Yeah, no, he's crazy.
He used to smoke a lot of weed before every single NFL game. A lot of weed. And now he actually, since we got legalized in Illinois, he just, I think it's called like Jimmy Mac 9. He has his own strain in Illinois dispensaries now. Huh. So, yeah. You got anything else you want to go ahead? I've been fucking ranting over here.
All right. We got, there's a couple of topics around the league. By the way, Packers, 2 big numbers in their secondary. Eric Stokes, Darnell Savage, both being placed on IR.
Yeah, I did see that. Not
going to help things.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of a guy in the secondary, Kareem Jackson, long-time veteran in this league, by the way. Kareem Jackson, I'm pretty sure it's 2010 was his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the league for a long, long time. He's one of the older active players. But he's gotten a ton of penalties this year. Unnecessary roughness. stuff like that. And he was handed a 4-game suspension due to unnecessary roughness, which now has been reduced to 2.
Okay.
But this is the first time, I believe, since Myles Garrett, that an on-the-field action has caused a multiple game suspension.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I was watching Pat McAfee, I think it was yesterday, and they had Harrison Smith on there from the Vikings. Just talking about the game and everything, but then they brought this up.
Balling this year.
Yeah, no, he's been a dog this year. But they brought this up. And he's like, I don't really blame the guy because since, as you said, he's been in the league for so long.
Yeah.
They've changed the way that you're supposed to tackle.
Completely.
Over the past 10 years, they've changed it completely.
He's not a rookie or anything like that. He is one of the oldest defensive players.
And that's the way that he's been tackling.
Yeah.
Because what it used to be was face mask straight to the chest. That was the way to tackle.
35 years old.
When I was playing football when I was younger, that's what they taught us. That's how it was taught everywhere. To play ball. But now it's just everything is completely changing.
Mm-hmm.
And Kareem Jackson, out of nowhere, he is not adapted to that change very well. No. And 4-game suspension, no. 2-game suspension, no. Send him a fine.
But the thing is, he's been fined. I'm pretty sure he's been fined every single week. That's the thing.
I really just think he doesn't care.
Yeah, I agree.
Or maybe Sean Payton is telling people to injure people again.
That could be.
Isn't that still like crazy to think about? And he's still an NFL coach.
That was way more of Greg Williams though than him.
Yeah. It makes so much sense though, because Sean Payton grew up like
it was Greg Williams though that was in charge of all of that. Sean Payton kind of just looked the other way. But it was Greg Williams who ran that whole thing. By the way,
it makes sense that he looked the other way. It makes sense because Sean Payton grew up about 7 minutes from my house.
Really?
At home. Yeah. Naperville, Illinois. 7 minutes from my house. He went to the high school filled with all the tools. They all suck. And they cheated in football too. Took away all their wins for the past 3 seasons because they were recruiting kids.
Wow.
So it makes sense. It makes sense. And we
Greg
still beat
Williams,
them every year.
Known NFL cheater. Did you hear what he did to the Ravens in 2000?
No.
You remember from the 30 for 30?
No.
So Trent Dilfer, Super Bowl champion Trent Dilfer. The worst starting quarterback ever won the Super Bowl now. But when we played the Titans earlier in the year, he couldn't find his playbook on his way out. He could not find it. And he knew he did not misplace it. Nothing.
Yeah. And after this, we got to talk about Michigan too. We got to talk about Michigan now. We brought up cheating.
The Ravens and the Titans played in the playoffs that year in 2000. The iconic Ray Lewis touchdown in that game. Winning that game on the way to the Super Bowl. In the very beginning of the game, the Titans knew every single play the Ravens were going to run.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of years down the line, Greg Williams actually admitted to Trent Dilfer that he stole his playbook.
That's wild.
And we still beat him.
Yeah?
And we still beat him.
That's wild. That is wild. But here's the thing. Okay.
Let's talk about Michigan.
I hate them. I hate them so much. I hate Michigan with a burning passion. I always have. I've never been a fan of Michigan. I think that they're a bunch of scumbags. I think that's literally the worst fan base in all of American sports is the Michigan Wolverines.
They're up there.
Yeah. And what do you think? Because that's not cheating.
I think it is this right here.
Yeah. But I don't think that the NCAA hates Harbaugh. I don't think that's true. I mean, they did suspend them. I will say that. But I just think that the NCAA, they always look for a reason to complain. They always do. Or I could totally see this. Somebody trying to bring down Michigan. That's not in the NCAA and because I'm guessing that's the way that this came about, is that there was an anonymous report to the NCAA saying, hey, Michigan's been sending this guy to all these games and he's been recording and watching all their film, it makes sense. I think it's just like an anonymous source trying to take them down.
I agree with you.
That's what I really think it is.
I honestly, it's a big story, but I don't think it's a big deal at all.
No, it's not. And the
I don't even have that
NCAA is
many
not
thoughts
going
on it. I
to.
think it's just being
All it means that they're doing a report on it. That really doesn't mean anything. They're going to look into it a little bit and say, okay. And I say, all right, it is what it is. You're fine. That's what they're going to do to Michigan, essentially. But what else did I want to talk about? God damn it. We
got a couple other things.
Sure, go ahead.
We got a couple of injuries to talk about here.
Oh, that's what I was going to bring up.
We got a few injuries. We'll start with the quarterbacks. In Cleveland, Deshaun Watson has been ruled out today. It's going to be P.J. Walker again this week. They're 2-0 with Walker this year. And you know what, man? This Deshaun Watson experience has not gone well in Cleveland, has it?
No, and it's not only an experience. They paid a lot of money. This is more like the Deshaun Watson show. This is the Deshaun Watson show. And they paid him all this money.
They knew they were a quarterback away. And that quarterback has not been good. In fact, this team has been better without him than with him since they've gotten him.
Maybe that's why you don't pay a guy that much money who's done weird things before.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. That's all I got.
And then on
Watson.
top of it, also a guy that was out of football for a year. On top of all
because he did weird things.
Right.
That's just dumb. That's just
doesn't matter
dumb.
how good you look. You have the off the field stuff, and then combining with, again, the guy has literally not played in over a year, and it's not injury related. He's just been sitting.
Yeah. Dumb.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
But this Browns team, I told you, they're better than people think. A lot.
Yeah. Yes, I'm watching the Bulls today, and I'm very excited that the Chicago Bulls are back. Even though they're going to be fucking mid, like they might get a 6 seed in the playoffs. They're going to suck. I'm excited. I love the Bulls. I always get my hopes up, and then they just suck. The Browns, I don't know.
Yeah. They can be good.
They can be, but they're not. They can be, but they're not.
I mean, they're playing. They're not playing bad football though at all right now.
Yeah, it's just
I feel
Watson's not the guy. Watson's never been the guy.
I still feel like they're. I did not think this at the beginning here, but now I'm starting. I think they're a playoff team this year. And very.
I think they could be too, but I mean, the reason why they wanted Deshaun was to take them to the promised land, and he is not taking them to the promised land.
Correct.
Yeah, he's not taking them to the promised land.
All right, got another quarterback thing here with Ryan Tannehill. Does not look like he is going to go this week. And it sounds like, who are you going to get? Malik Willis or Will Levis?
Raid. What's up, boys?
Oh, there we go.
Good to see you guys. We're just chilling. Shout out to the Book It boys. Thank you all. Thank you.
Absolutely. It sounds like the answer to whether or not we'll see Malik Willis or Will Levis, the answer is both. But it also sounds like more Levis than Willis. But it sounds like we're still going to see them both.
That's so weird. It's going to be the two of them. That's so weird.
But it sounds like more Levis than Willis. But
yeah. But I don't know. I like Tennessee. It's going to be a big Derrick Henry game. That's all it's going to be. Yeah, it's a QB tryout game and a Derrick Henry game. Hey, fellas, I got a little NBA play tonight while they're all in here.
Okay, let's go.
I got 2 NBA plays tonight. Well, first off, I got a homer pick, obviously, because the Bulls are playing tonight. I got the Bulls -2 and then P. Will over 9.5 points. Patrick Williams is a fucking dog, but then I got 2 3-legs. I got the Cavs -2. I like the Cavs tonight. I got the Hornets +3.5, 87% of public. The Cavs play the Nets. I like the Cavs. I got the Hornets +3.5 over the Hawks because 87% of public money is all over the Hawks. So I like the Hornets. Celtics Knicks over 221. That's one of the lays. And then my second one, that's +508 on the odds. My second one, I like the Kings -1.5 versus the Jazz. The Kings were my team last year, too. I just fucking rode the Kings in every single game. It was so free. Then I got the Mavericks -4 against the Spurs. And then I have the under in the Trailblazer Clipper game. Those are my two bets.
There you go.
$10, $100 pays out $600, and $100 pays out $600 in the other one.
There you go.
So there you go.
All right.
But yeah.
Last one, and this is big. This is real big. Nick Bolton, out roughly 2 months, dislocated wrist. This guy's been flying under the radar his whole career. He has emerged himself as a borderline top 5 linebacker in football.
Mm-hmm.
He's emerged as that. He's been that good.
Yeah.
And also, the thing with Kansas City that people don't want to talk about is that this season has looked like, by far, I might add, the best defense Patrick Mahomes has ever had.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
This
They have been playing
defense
stellar
has
football.
been real good. And while
They
the
have been playing
offense
stellar
at
football.
times has not clicked,
Yeah,
this looks like the best defense we have ever seen from Patrick Mahomes.
100%.
And other than Chris Jones, probably the best player on that defense is now going to be out for a while. People don't want to talk about it because he's a linebacker and he's not that well known. And while they do have some good linebackers, Willie Gay obviously is still there and he'll be fine. But this is a player that not enough people know about, and definitely not enough people know how good he is. So this is a real loss. A real loss.
For sure. I've heard you talk about him before as well. I believe on the show. I think you honestly have. And he's been a beast
really
all
good.
year this year. And that is a big loss for Kansas City. Do we have any more injuries, or is that it? Because I got one more thing.
It that I have. That's it.
Okay. I got one more thing.
Okay.
Speaking of sports betting, because I was in class the other day, and I got to tell Trent about this, because actually I should send you this, and then I should have sent you this and then have you pull it up. I used Trent in a class presentation at school because I talked about us on there too, because I was able to talk about whatever I wanted.
Harbaugh did not comment on why. He just didn't. He said he was not going to comment on why. So
probably just rest. I think just rest. I don't know.
We're waiting on the injury report to come out. Probably in the next.
Back to what I was saying. So it was basically like the future of sports media, and I talked about TikTok. I talked about Twitch. YouTube. All of this just taking over essentially. But then the other thing that I talked about was sports betting. And my teacher, who's actually a real nice guy, I love the dude. He asked me a good question. He's like, you see the stuff with Shams and FanDuel, how they're related to each other, and the stuff that happened during the NBA draft, where he said, I forgot what player it was, that this team's interested in him, and then everybody went and bet on him, and then it actually didn't end up happening. And one of the biggest problems right now is ESPN just bought Barstool Sportsbook.
Right. And
it's a big debate, and I want to get your answer. Should ESPN, the world leader in sports media, the number one in sports media, be able to own a sports book?
So
it's a weird question.
I mean, this is something that I have been talking about. I've been thinking about for a while now. In general,
I know that it's a licensing. I know that it's just like their name on there, but still, should their name be on a sports book?
The impact of sports betting on fans, great.
Yeah.
But there is a very, very good reason why this was illegal for so long. And I don't know how many of you, I know you have, I don't know how many of you guys watching have watched the Tim Donaghy Untold. But my biggest takeaway from it was not anything about what he did. It was about how easy it is for someone to get involved in it.
Oh, it's super easy.
It's a very, very sketchy thing to talk about because stuff like this can happen. I mean, literally millions and millions of dollars are at stake on stuff like this.
Yeah.
That's why I was very outspoken and still believe that professional sports leagues, in terms of punishments, when they find out that players are involved, should be incredibly severe. I think that these companies need to take the same approach. I don't think it's a bad thing that I do not think it is a bad thing for these companies to have this stuff. But if it is found that, I'll use, I don't know, Adam Schefter, for example. If we hear that he's involved and he's actively changing lines, the punishment for a guy like Calvin Ridley, it should be the same type of punishment for Adam Schefter. But if you can toe the line, it's not a bad thing. But they should take very serious repercussions the second they hear that one of their people are involved.
It's just, it's such a weird argument because it's like, even though should ESPN's name be anywhere near that, I really don't think so. As the provider, as the people who report on all these sports, the people who break all the news, the people who broadcast all the games, the people who announce them all, I don't think that ESPN should get involved with this. Sure, they can have.
The thing is Caesars Sportsbook being an official sponsor of the Ravens.
Yeah, the Bears is Bet Rivers.
Same exact thing.
It's weird. It's so weird.
It is.
It's such a weird spot to be in. It's just a weird place. And it's the truth, though. How I talked about in that presentation that I had is sports betting has completely changed sports media over the past 4 or 5 years.
And it's just going to keep on going.
Completely. And that's a pretty cool username right there.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
That's a pretty cool username right there. Mr. Burns Bats. That's pretty fire. But it's just completely changed the game.
Yep.
Completely. And it's the weirdest thing ever. I don't think that the leagues themselves or anything should be stepping anywhere near it. You know, I really don't think that anybody should be getting involved with sports betting, but obviously that's going to happen. And even, dude, and I don't know about, is it legal in Maryland, by the way?
Yes.
It is? Okay. It's legal here, and here's my question. Have they built sportsbook yet inside of your sports stadiums or no?
No.
Because there is a FanDuel sportsbook inside the United Center, and there is a DraftKings sportsbook now at Wrigley Field.
Yeah. That just feels...
It's crazy.
From the beginning, been telling me from the very beginning how it is going to be catastrophic. What happens is my grandfather. From the beginning, he has been telling me that this is going to end horribly. He has been my grandfather.
Oh yeah.
He is from the beginning has been telling me this could potentially ruin professional sports.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is. I won't say that I think it's going to happen, but I don't think it's crazy to say that's something that could down the line.
No, I don't think it's gonna ruin. It's not gonna ruin sports.
Yeah. But
it's not gonna ruin it.
That Tim Donaghy doc really scared me because
it's changing sports.
But it showed me just how easy it is for someone like left to get involved, just like that. Because here's the thing, now whether it's true or not, he did not. He said that he didn't even change. He didn't rig a game. He just told the people who he thought was going to win based off what he knew about all the officials. And about
here's the thing. Here's the thing, Josh.
And that, yeah.
And speaking outside the league, here's the thing. Everybody else, even if you're not 21, you can get involved with it easily.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if your buddies have told you about this little app called Fliff, where it's literally a sports book where they don't check your age or anything, and you're just in. They ask you what's your birthday, and you just have to be 18. And sometimes you have to send them a picture of your ID. Now, I'm not saying that I used this. I'm not saying that I use this app whatsoever. But
a lot of people do.
A lot of people do, but still, they only check if you're 18. That's it. They only check if you're 18. That's it. And it's wild. Wild to me. Basically, and I mean, there's so many websites out there where you could just get involved. You could just go on there.
And you know what's really interesting, though? Something that I have noticed in the last year or so?
Do
you know who has given in terms of videos, in terms of stats, the best content in the last year or so? Betting people. They seem to be the people that know the game the best. Why is that? Because there's literally money on the line for them to know who is good and who is not. And
absolutely
why.
study the game.
So
Absolutely.
honestly, over the last year or so, what's been really interesting is that it feels like the best analysts and the people that know the game the best inside and out are the people that are involved with sports betting.
No, it's all these handicappers out there,
That's been
which
really,
are just
really interesting
unreal.
for me to see.
Like, I see so many people out there, and dude, they dive into the game
Those
like
are the
nobody
real
else.
experts right now.
Yeah.
Because they got
It's
money. They
changing
got
the
their
game.
own money to know all of that stuff.
But I don't know. I feel like we should get Trent or somebody else in the sports betting community on for an episode, and we should do like a deep dive into all of this.
Conversation.
Yeah, no, it truly is. But I think that that's going to do it for us here today, right?
Yeah.
About so. Interesting episode. We talked about a lot of different things.
It's been a fun one. I like episodes like this.
We talked about a lot of different things today, and we just kind of went all over the place. But we're going to be back. Thursday night. Yep. Okay. Thursday night football picks.
Good job, chat.
Let's go.
All right. Yeah. And you know what? This is a really interesting game. I'm excited for this one. The Bills and the Bucks. Because Buffalo, as we talked about earlier in the show, I have seen two different Bills teams this year. When they're playing well, if they play well and the way that they've played at their peak, they're going to smoke them. But when they play poorly, they're the team that's going to get smoked against a team like the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So which Bills team shows up here on Thursday Night Football? I went live on TikTok the other day, and someone asked me the question: "Is like, are the Bills going to the playoffs?" And instincts kicked in. It's like, yeah, 100%. Then I thought about it for a second. It's like, you know what? They're losing too many games right now. I'm still saying yes, I still think they will, but a couple more losses, like what they've had this year in a really tough AFC, if they have 2 or 3 more losses this year that they really shouldn't lose, and then they drop a game against a good team, or 2 games against a good team, and then another 2 losses against teams they should beat, they're sitting at 9-8.
Yeah.
So they gotta figure it out. I think they will, but it's worth talking about.
Yeah. Here's my thing. In this game, my pick, I'm taking the Bills to win, and I'm taking the Bills to cover. And if they don't cover this fucking game, I'm done. I'm done with Buffalo. Like, going into the season, I literally said, I'm like, dude, I'm so done with the Buffalo Bills. I'm so done. Because they do the same thing every year. They hype you up so much, and you think, okay, this Buffalo team, we're here, man. And then they just lose. They lose their minds every year. It's the same bullshit over and over again. And that's what it's really looked like the past 2 weeks. Even though they did beat that New York Giants team, that's really what it's looked like the past 2 weeks. It's been a train wreck. And if they don't win this game at home, I'm done. I'm done.
And what's interesting is it's not even necessarily been Josh Allen. He hasn't been anything special, but he hadn't been that bad. This has been a team effort. There have been, and what's insane is that's with Stephon Diggs playing some unbelievably good football this year.
For sure.
Josh Allen not playing that bad. It's been, and again, James Cook hasn't been that bad. The defense, second to only the Ravens in sacks this year. They're, as a team, not playing bad football, but they're making these just dumb mistakes. Whether it's one careless throw by Josh Allen, whether it's a couple fumbles, whether it's for some reason getting unlucky last week and Mac Jones having maybe the best game of his career last week. I'm not exactly, he played that well. People don't want to talk about that with New England. Everyone wants to talk about how Buffalo was terrible. Quietly, Mac Jones had an unbelievable day last week. That's unlucky that happened to be against you guys, because it wasn't even necessarily them playing poorly. Mac had a great day. That isn't going to help you. So they have the talent. They're also 4-3 right now, and it's been less than impressive.
Yeah, 100% agreed.
So you're going with Buffalo.
I am.
What's your score?
I'm going to take I'm gonna take Fuck. I don't know. I don't know what my score is gonna be. I'll take the Bills 25 to
25 to 8.
25 to No. I'm gonna take them 30 to 22.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
30 to 22. All right. I'm with you. This is a tough pick.
It is.
This is a tough pick. I should just take the Bills and not think twice about it. But
Mm-hmm.
they've been shaky.
They have.
Been shaky. And I've really struggled in my picks these last few weeks. I went 5-8 last week, tying with the fans. The week before I was 8-7. The week before that I was 8-6. After I got off the hot start, I've been struggling a little bit. Might have some ground to make up a little bit, as you now are ahead of me by 1 game. This game could go either way, man.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Berman's upset of the week.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
You're going with the Bucks.
I am.
Okay.
I just I'm feeling about them. I do. I just gotta go with them. I still think they're gonna take that NFC South. And they had a bad loss last week to Atlanta, where Tampa losing this game, especially if Atlanta wins, it could be in some trouble here. They have some real ground to make up. Again, because they lost last week to the Bucks.
Yeah.
To the Falcons. So I think that they get a very, very big gotta have it game. I think the Bucks get it.
Okay.
And put the Bills at 4-4 on the year.
Wow. All right. That's a big call. That's a big call.
Tampa, I'll say 27-20.
27-20. Okay. I'm not opposed to it because the Bills have looked like dog shit. So
I gotta have an upset of the week too. I gotta pick someone that's 3.5 spread or bigger to win. And looking at my other options, this is the one that makes the most sense.
There you go. All right.
Now we're done.
That will do it for us. There we go. We made our picks. Thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate all the people who rated. Thank you all so much. We really do appreciate it.
Those of you that rated and stayed as well.
Yes. Thank you all so much. Go and subscribe to the YouTube, Burns and Berman. Subscribe to the YouTube on there. Follow us on there. Highlights, clips, everything. But thank you all so much for joining. We really do appreciate it. And we will see you guys on Friday, 2:30 p.m. Central Time. Friday. Be there for our picks of the week.
It's going to be fun.
It'll be a good time.